Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. My name is Andrew Grosset and welcome back to my channel. So, for those of you that have just joined us and missed last week's, we are in the process, we're in flow of going through all the different stages and phases that are involved in you purchasing a property here in the UK. Now, first things first, I would like to point out just at this point that this video series is directed to the purchasing of a property here in the UK. There are different laws, different rules, different people involved in the sequence and in the process when you step out from different country to country. It's not a one size fits all kind of dynamic. So please, if you're watching this and you're abroad or you're looking at purchasing abroad, please don't take this as gospel because the rules won't apply. So, on with the show. Now, for those of you that have joined onto this video series because you're in the process of purchasing property or are thinking about purchasing a property, I would stress that you pause this video right now, go back to last week's and watch it right the way through from there because the order is actually quite important. So, last week we talked about obtaining your mortgage in principle. So now we've got that on our hand, we've got that certificate, we know how we can do this thing. Now it's actually time to do the thing. It's time to step forward and go find that property. Now, before you go running on to Zoopla, Rightmove, On the Market, the various different other, Facebook even, the various different other websites that are out there that are displaying listings of properties to sell, I would urge you to sit down, take a pause for a second and decide off book what it is that you're looking for. Decide before you get into the supermarket. You ever been there when you've gone down to Tesco's or wherever it is with no shopping list? You end up coming back with 10 times more stuff than you thought you were going out for in the first place. And the same thing's going to happen in this respect. If you plant yourself right in the middle of all these attractive property listings, you're going to spend so much time sifting through stuff that really didn't fit your soul in the first place. So what I'd advise you to do at this point in time is to take a notepad and pen and ask yourself some honest questions. You know, am I looking for an apartment? Am I looking for a house? Am I willing to look at something that's ex-local authority against looking for something that's new build? Do I want a new build or do I want something that's Victorian conversion? Is the kitchen size important to me? Does it need to have 2 bathrooms? There are all these different questions that you can ask that do the same thing as a filter and actually will help you to apply the filters to filter down and narrow it down, you know, to get into the point of you selecting that property that's right for you. Let's not get it confused here. We're not going online or approaching agents just for the sake of looking at properties. The goal is to purchase a property. And so if you've got that in mind, then you need to have, as best as you can, before you get to the point of actually treading boards inside of a property, you need to understand what proper property it is that you're looking for and apply those required filters, and therefore save yourself and the other agents and the heartache and all the emotions involved in this process before you even get into the process to begin with. The other thing that I would stress that you remember in this process is that by choosing to purchase a property, you are also choosing to be sold to. I'm going to say that again. By choosing to purchase a property, you are choosing to be sold to. As agents, that's our job. Our job is to sell the properties that we have listings for. And that means when you apply to us or you contact us to go, right, well, I'm interested in this property, our job is also to show the other properties that we've got that also might be of interest to you and also might fit your criteria. Now I'm putting that in there now so that you get the mindset of things correctly as you move through each phase and stage of this process. The agent's job is to sell a property to you. That's their role, that's what they're here for, and by contacting them, that's what you're applying for. And remember that when you get emails that come through or you get property listings that aren't necessarily to your favor. It's not the agent just throwing things at you for the sake of throwing things at you. They're sending things through to you that they think might be applicable, or based on the information you give them, they thought you might be of interest in. They're not necessarily always going to be within your price bracket. That's not our role here. Our role is to send you things that are relevant to you, both in terms of what you know you're looking for, and also what you might not do. Don't forget, we're industry professionals here. We see properties inside, day in, day out, and we know them inside and out. So sometimes something that on the face of it on your Rightmove or Zoopla might not be of particular attraction to you immediately. We might know of something that's in the property that might be a bit of a game changer for you. So, and the only reason why I'm putting this in here now, because as you register with various different agents, they will start to do exactly that and send you through suggestions that they think might be of interest to you. And rather than looking at the emails as a point of annoyance, so going, right, well, this guy sent me 10 emails, this and none of the properties are to my liking. You might want to take a look at it and go, right, well, he or she's actually selecting stuff that might be to my liking. And actually, when I approached them and said, I want to go and view this property, that's what I've actually asked for. Now, I put that in here very specifically because as I've encountered various different people along the way, they seem to get a bit confused as to what a negotiation is, and almost feel, you get the impression that they've got the mindset of they're trying to beat the agent. You're not trying to beat the agent. The agent's job is to sell you the property that you are interested in. We're all working in sync towards the same goal, which is you owning the property. Not the agent trying to get one over on you, not the agent trying to swindle you out of money, not the agent just thinking about from a seller's perspective. Each link in this process is required, and if you go at it and with the mindset of going, right, well, I need to beat the agent, you're going to miss so much along the way, and it's just going to be a bit more of an arduous process for both yourself and the agents. Now, the other thing I'd say to yourself, which is a pitfall a lot of people fall into, is that use the internet. Use the internet, use the tools that you've got around you to narrow down your search as much as possible to therefore save yourself the time. But also, if you bump into a property that fits, if you bump into a property that ticks your boxes, if you bump into something that floats your boat, don't forget the objective here. The objective is not to view as many properties as possible. The objective is to find a property to purchase. And so if you find something that ticks those boxes, yes, you could go for second, third, fourth, fifth, however many viewings you like. It's an option. But don't forget, this is a bit of a race. And just as much as you're out there looking for properties, the agent will be in contact with hundreds of people that are also looking for a property and could also be looking at the same property you are. I've had so many conversations, countless conversations where I've had to disappoint people where they thought that I was bluffing by saying loads of people are interested and this property's not going to be on the market for very long, and thought actually, oh, Andrew's just chatting out of his backside here, and it's not true. And then I've had to disappoint them a week later when they've called for their third viewing or said, actually, I'm now ready to make an offer 3 weeks later, and the property's actually gone. Remember the objective. The objective is to purchase a property, not just to see as many that's available as possible. So that brings me to the end of cast number 2. We're on a roll. So we've covered the mortgage in principle, we've covered selecting and choosing a property, and got to the point where actually, you know, we're finding properties that we're actually interested in. Next week we move on to property negotiations and what that looks like and what to look out for and what have you. It's where the fun really begins. Anyway, that's been me. I thank you so much for your time, so much for your dedication, so much for following, and thank you so much for your support. That's me out for this week. I look forward to catching up with you next week. See you in the forwards.